Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela Carpio and I am a full-time real estate professional at Coldwell Banker ABR, serving Canyon Lake, California and the surrounding cities. If your market is anything like the Southwest Riverside market, you are competing against multiple offers. So these are 8 tips for home buyers who want to make a competitive offer. Per California Association of Realtor Purchase Agreement, the RPA, which is the documents that we use to make an offer on a property, you have 17 days to remove buyer inspection contingency, 17 for appraisal contingency, and 21 days for loan. What I would suggest is that you shorten the contingency periods. I'll give you an example. On one of my offers, we shorten it from 17 to 10, appraisal from 17 to 14, and loan from 21 to 17 days. Both seller and listing agents tend to like shorter contingency periods because they want to know right away whether you want to move forward with purchasing the house based on your inspection and investigation and based on the disclosures. So the shorter the contingency periods, the better your offer looks. Your agent really should reach out to the listing agent to make sure that this is what the seller wants. If, for example, the seller has already found a replacement home, they're probably gonna want a shorter escrow. Now, if they're still packing, they have a big home and they wanna take their time packing, they might want to ask for a longer escrow. We made an offer on this house where the seller wants 60 days escrow and my client wanted the house, so they had no problem with the 60 days escrow. Also, you have to run this with your lender as well. You need to make sure that when you put on the RPA that you're going to close within 21 days, that this is something that they can do. Tip number 3, let seller choose all services. In a competitive market, I usually advise my buyers to let sellers choose all services as far as the escrow, the title, the termite company, the hazard disclosures, just because seller is typically the ones that pay for the disclosures anyway, so they can choose whoever they want to work with. To me, it doesn't matter just because these are third-party neutral companies anyway. They are licensed in the state of California and they have to abide by certain rules and regulations, requirements, and code of ethics anyway. So I'm not worried that they're going to favor one over the other. They're there to provide a service and that's it. The only service that my buyer chooses is the home inspection, just because they would be paying for that out of pocket. He or she who pays for the service gets to choose the service. In escrow, each party typically pays for their own fees. In the end, money talks. If you're competing against 4, 5, 6, 10 offers, you need to offer above asking price. In our market, it's not uncommon to offer $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 above asking price. One of my clients' offer got beat by someone who made an offer $40,000 above what the seller is originally asking. How do you compete with that if you're only going to offer asking price? Put yourself in the seller's position. One is asking you for full price offer and one is offering $40,000 more. Which one is more enticing to you? Of course, the $40,000 more. So anything you can do to go above asking price would make your offer look good to the seller. When you do offer above asking price, make sure you also offer to pay the difference, not to exceed the amount that you went above the asking price. For example, if you make a $420,000 offer on a $400,000 home, you have a difference of $20,000. You can write up on the offer, buyer to pay the difference not to exceed $20,000. So that way they know that yes, you're willing to pay more for the house, but you're also willing to come up with the money should the house appraise for less than what you're offering. The next thing you can do is put a higher deposit. Whether you put in $5,000 or $10,000, that would all go towards your down payment and your closing costs anyway. It just lets them know that you have more skin in the game, and it makes them think that you are a serious buyer, because you are. You're not going to put up all those money if you don't want this house. Anyway, that money will be held in escrow. It's not like you decided that this house is not for you, the seller gets to keep the $10,000. That's not how it works. It takes two people to agree on the escrow instruction. It'll take two people to take that money out of escrow. Another thing you can do is you can pay for your own home warranty. Why not? It costs about $300 to about $500 depending on the type of coverage that you want. For me, if you're in a competitive landscape, it's so worth it, because the next house that you might like might cost more than this house that you lose out on. Now, this next tip is where agents are divided. It's when a buyers write a love letter to a seller. So basically what it is, it's a letter to seller. It's when the buyer introduced themselves to the seller, just to kind of put a face to the names that are just on the paper. A lot of my buyers talk about the connection that they have with the house. They talk about how they envision living in the house, where their furnitures are gonna go, something like that. I do advise my clients that depending on the listing agent and the instruction that they receive from the seller, that letter may or may be presented along with their offer to the seller. Sometimes it works wonders. One of my clients' offer got accepted because of their letter to seller. I know that because the listing agent told me. When we toured the property, the seller happened to be a huge Raider fan, and so was my buyers. And on their letter to seller, they did say that we love your house. We love that you're a Raider fan. I'm a huge Raider fan. And then he just talks about football a little bit on the letter. And then they said that, yeah, they like the letter just because they're also a Raider fan. I don't know if that's true, but that's what the listing agent told me. So I know that the letter, it does work. Last but not the least, you really should work with a kick-ass lender and realtor. So when I present an offer on my email, I do bullet points. I write down the terms of the offer. I introduce the buyer. I introduce myself. I introduce the lender. Any concerns that I think the listing agent may have, I address on the email. I do call the listing agent prior to make an offer to see how long of an escrow they want, if they're okay with just putting in seller's choice on the list of services, or they want it specific. And after I submit the offer, I do call the listing agent to let them know that I have submitted an offer. If I don't get a response, I do text that listing agent just so they know to look into their inbox. And also the lender that I typically work with, they do call the listing agent afterwards. Just in case my buyers need to cross-qualify by their lenders, the best person to answer any of their financial questions will be the lender. So it's really important that you work with both lenders and realtors who are on top of everything and who knows what they're doing, okay? And that's it for this video. If you or someone you know is looking to own, sell, or invest in real estate in Canyon Lake, California and the surrounding cities, please give me a call, 619-228-5034. Have a great day. Bye.